Wait.
What are we doing there?
What are we doing?
There's no telling.
So we're setting the theme for what's coming up in this episode.
Setting the theme, setting the tone. We're going to set the pace, right? We've got a great show. We've got, I mean, should we just bring him in? He's one of our best friends. I want to bring in an amazing friend, amazing community leader, and business professional. Let's bring on in Mr. Orhan McMillan. Here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Great music. This is like, I don't know if it's touching my Turkish roots or my meditate. It's just touching something. It's amazing.
Knowing you, it was touching something, Orhan.
Good morning, two of my favorite people on the planet.
Hello, Orhan. We're so excited you're joining us.
Thank you so much. Hello, Rob. How are y'all this morning?
Good, man. You saw before we went live, it was a family circus. 3 rings, if not another one.
A lot of energy. I was sitting there and I was just bringing that in. I'm like, oh yes, but I'm glad it's there.
Dima was showing Legos. And
I saw dinosaurs, and we had a unicorn competition. My unicorn, your unicorn.
Last show had a llama. I don't even know what's going on. We've completely lost control of this live stream in about 3 weeks.
And little dolls with scary makeup.
Right.
Nice.
What a great day. Yes, it is.
Orhan, where are you, man? That scenery looks gorgeous.
I am up in Clear Lake, on Clear Lake in north central Louisiana. It's about 30 minutes north of Natchitoches, to give a reference, about an hour and a half south of Shreveport. So just out here in the nature, right? And I brought in these birds for you. If we need to quiet them down, I'll have to speak to my producer over here and be like, can you quiet the birds just a little bit?
That is so funny. It looks like a studio, as if you have a studio behind you.
A green screen or an Olin Mills backdrop behind him.
Olin Mills. I've been seeing this thing going around social where you're showing your high school photo, and that's actually, I did Luckett's. I was Luckett's photography, but we didn't have enough money to do Olin Mills.
I think we did Olin Mills, and then I wound up doing glamour shots out in Lakeside Mall of Metairie, Louisiana. Shout out to Dale Soldavila. I found out through my Goldman Sachs program.
Oh, wow.
Orhan, you know all about that.
Right.
Dale was one of the guys who brought glamour shots to Louisiana. Right. I did my high school portraits there. There's a reason why I haven't participated in that challenge.
You can private message me that. You know we do that anyway. But yeah,
there was a black leather jacket, and I was not wearing a shirt on. But next topic. There might have been a study.
This is censored. I mean, honestly, this is Rob and Orhan censored. That's a whole different stuff, but you know.
Oh, Dima's here. Hey, Dima.
Yeah, good morning, my friend. And you're where, Dima?
I am in San Diego.
Hello, San Diego.
I'll be here until things calm down and I feel safe to get on an airplane. In the meantime, I'll just keep enjoying my mom's cooking and being treated so nice.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yeah. So Orhan, 99% of our city, they know who you are. So for the 1% that doesn't know you, tell us more about who you are and tell us about the amazing initiatives you're working on.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Orhan McMillan. I am a proud native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was born and raised there. Graduated Scotlandville Magnet High School. And then, proceeded on my journey from there. I find myself very involved in the community in Baton Rouge, doing a lot of work there. This is my 20th year of a web design and marketing company. When I hit 2020, it came to me that, oh, you started this in 2000. Wow. And little did I know, January of 2020, when I was working on my business stuff, that where we would be March 15th, April 17th, right? And so all that's out the door right now. But nevertheless, I also, in 2018, I started a group called Manfulness Living. I'm very excited. Rob is one of my Manfulness men, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's a men's group focused around mindfulness and that. And I just, as of next week, I will be launching my personal brand, which it would be, I do a lot of educating and teaching and keynote speaking and things like that. So this has been a great time for me to finally bring that stuff together. And also I'll be launching the OrhanMcMillan.com because, I don't have enough websites, right? I don't quite have enough social media to keep up with. And, but yeah, so that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
Amazing. Orhan, while you were talking, I put some web crawlers on the bottom. Not web crawler. I put a crawler down at the bottom talking about Designs Interactive and all the work you've done there. And then also so we can get to the website of Manfulness Living once we learn more about that too.
Wonderful. Oh, this is amazing. I love this software. I'm a software guy, so this is nice. I like this a lot.
It's great. We'll just throw a quick little promo and plug for that. We've used a few. Me and Dima started this show a little while back, a few weeks back, and I've only tried 2 solutions to get this right. And really, it's great. We're using StreamYard right now, and really liking it. Streaming.
Yeah. I've been watching our show.
YouTube and Twitter right now.
And soon we're going to launch our own Facebook page and LinkedIn page and YouTube page.
More social media to keep up with. Yay.
Able to live stream everything, our chit chats on these pages. So coming soon. Yes.
Well, I have been enjoying them. I've been watching them, and it's a nice breath of fresh air coming in from 2 people that just bring so much and different, but then coming together. Because if you would have asked me, Dima and Rob, I'm like, I don't know. I think on that. But like in any good Southern recipe or any good Turkish recipe, if you get the right amount, you got a good thing. So I'm really enjoying it. And so, yeah, thank you all for putting this on. And definitely thank you for and giving me a little bit of time to talk. So, because you can tell I don't like doing that.
So, Orhan, I know you've been doing a lot of work to help people understand mindfulness and being present and all the amazing things you teach at Manfulness Living. So right now, a lot of people are going through major stress financially, related to their jobs, related to their health, their family. So what tips would you give them from all, whether it is things you're doing right now or whether it is what you're teaching?
Well, what I think where I would start is with something I've said a lot recently is just be okay where you are. Wherever you are right now is okay, and it's where you need to be. And then from that place, just begin to be aware of what that is and what that feels like, what those emotions are, what those thoughts are. One of my spiritual practitioners always says, you can't get there from here. And what they mean by that is, we have this idea that we want to feel better. We want to feel positive, etc. But if you're starting from a place that's not there, you can't make that leap. It's impossible. And actually what it ends up doing when someone tries to make that leap, it actually causes a lot of guilt and shame because they begin to wonder why I can't do it right. When in actuality, just start where you are. Even this morning, because there is no perfection in this. I woke up with a lot of anxiety this morning, had one of those days yesterday. The things that have come through business wise and such. And, you do your best to carry it and not carry it to sleep, but you wake up with it. So I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, I've got this to do. I knew we were going to do this, a couple other things. And I tried to push myself out of it. And I'm like, wait, stop. You can't push yourself out of this. That's not going to work. So I basically just sat down and began to breathe into where I was and allowed that. And within about 10, 15 minutes, it moved me into a much more balanced place. And so that's what I mean by just start where you are and be okay knowing wherever you are it's okay to be there, because you're right. There is so many different things going on. There's so much going on, whether someone is unemployed now, they own a business and they're causing unemployment, resulting in unemployment. Everybody's different, and and the different levels of anxiety and stress, they're all relative, because the person feeling them, it's theirs. And so it's not a matter of comparing my stress to Rob's stress to Dima's stress. My stress is only my own. And so by being present and starting there, that's where we begin.
Two things, Orhan. Love that. One is, why on earth would you even acknowledge where you are? That seems to be how you got in this in the first place, right? You're there. Maybe that's what caused the stress. Maybe, why is it important to acknowledge where you're at before you start making advances forward? And then I guess, the last one about taking it where you are, we're at home. We are stressed. Right. We're not where we want to be sometimes. But when Orhan, when you're stressed, and I know it, I want to absorb it because I don't want you to feel that way. So how can we, what's the importance of acknowledging where you are now to make an advance forward? And then, I don't know, why on earth is it important?
Very good question. And I'm going to start with that first one.
Yeah.
And the difference is actually knowing where you are here and knowing where you are here. There's two different things, because when I woke up this morning, I could have gone with thought, the 50,000 thoughts that hit me as soon as my body started to awaken. I could have accepted that as where I was, but that's really not where I am in that moment. It's the thoughts that are created. It's the anxiety. It's the stress. It's what the brain does. It's a magnificent organ. It's a magnificent thing, but that's not really where we are. And the other thing, I think that's one of the things that we find as a challenge as people. Do we really know where we are at any given moment? We may think we do, but are we reacting or are we responding? And by reacting, I'm reacting to the thoughts that are coming at me. I'm reacting to what I walked by and heard the news say, or what all of the medical thing says. And now we're closed on May 15th, or we're going to be closed till May 30th. Is that really where I am? And the only way I can know where I am is to take a few minutes to stop, take a few breaths, and then decide what comes up from there by slowing this down. So I question, and I always say, make sure you're starting from a place that you actually are. And the only way to really know that is to slow this big guy down a little bit. And then to your second, tell me your second question again.
I think the second question was, you had mentioned about how you absorb the stress, or you have the stress, but, I'm very empathetic and compassionate. Sometimes if I know that a friend is suffering, I want to help them. So sometimes I might carry that passively, actively, without not even knowing it, but I will absorb some of your stress and anxiety, either being around you, talking to you, or wanting better for you.
Yeah.
And I can see that, and I hear that, and that's the love and compassion and the empathy that we have for other people. It really is, because we care for people. I mean, that's one of the challenges we're facing right now, is being isolated from people. As humans, we need each other. We need interaction. That's how we built. That's how we came to this planet. The small adjustment in that I find is most helpful, and I use this at reference a lot, the airplane reference, where they say, if there's an emergency, the oxygen mask comes down, put your own mask on first before you can help anyone else. Before you do anybody else, before you try to assist anybody else with their mask, put your own mask on. And I think that is such a valuable thing, that if we're not taking care of ourselves, as much as you love me and I love you, you can't do anything for me. The only thing that you can really do for me is be you. And from that place of being authentic you, then you help everyone around you. I had a mindfulness session night before last, and we were talking about stress and anxiety during COVID-19 and stuff. And that's one of the things that came through, was my only responsibility. And I know this is going to sound selfish, but I'm going to alter the word selfish. My only responsibility truly is to take care of me. I'm going to say that again. My only responsibility is to take care of myself. Now, where we miss on that is we leave out the part, because that does sound very selfish and very egotistical, and it's just about me. But where we miss is by taking care of ourselves, we're actually taking care of everybody else around us. Because if we're taking care of ourselves, we're able to meet people where they are, help them as we can, offer clear options and solutions, but we're not carrying on anybody else's stuff, because I can't fix you. There's nothing I can do. To go a little further with that, a little explain. This is an example that I use quite often. So I love that people ask for advice. We all ask for, our business networking groups, all those things, tell me what to do. So when you're asking someone for advice, I love this one. I hope this one is received well. So let's say I ask you, Rob, I need a solution. Tell me what to do on this problem that I'm having.
Sure.
So what happens is, Rob, you take that into yourself. You think about it. But the difference is, I'm Orhan. I come from only from the place that I can. It's my history, my narrative, my moment in that time. You're going to come in at that place wherever Rob is. And I imagine, I use this as a filter. You're going to take that, you're going to embody that. You're going to come up with something, but it's your history, your narrative, your perspective that then you're going to offer me. And I'm supposed to take that, and it's supposed to work. And that's impossible, because what you're offering is something that only would work for you, not for me. And that's why what we do in the mindfulness stuff and a lot of the work that I do, the word is facilitation. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you what to do, but it doesn't mean it's going to work. And that's one of the challenges we have. We look outside of ourselves for people to tell us what to do. We have the answers. We are born with the answers. All we have to do is get to a place of clarity and calm and allow those answers to come through. So I hope that gave some insight on that.
I like that. And Dima, follow up after this. But so I guess what I'm taking away from that is, if you're taking care of you, Orhan, and we come into contact 6 feet apart, of course, for now, maybe.
That's why you and I can't be around each other, because we can't do 6 feet. We know that.
Sort of. But let's say we come into contact. Orhan's taking care of himself, and he's fine. He's in a good state of mind. I come into contact with you. You might spread that positivity, that encouragement and motivation, where it elevates me to actually work on myself, or gives me the energy to do so. So by you working on yourself, it does sort of allow me to work on myself. And I heard a little quote a long time ago that just stung me so hard as soon as it hit me. And Dima, I want you to follow up after this, but because there's got to be a personal coaching, a business coaching mindset to this. Saying no to someone else is actually saying yes to yourself. Mm-hmm. So saying no to someone else is giving yourself the chance to say yes to yourself. And so, Dima, where does that leave us in a personal and professional mindset for development or moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I think about what the quote is saying, no to something, that's saying yes to yourself, or saying yes to the right thing for your life, it's freeing you, because many times we make decisions because we don't want to disappoint other people, or we feel guilty of saying no. Many of us were afraid of setting limits, and we end up taking so much, and we end up, of course, not doing the things and not having enough time to do the things that are meaningful. So absolutely right. And to Orhan's point, totally. Many times we want to help others, and we end up becoming so depleted with energy because we want to help and we want to feel with someone and all of this. So we need our glass to be full in order to be able to give others. And in situations like this, with what we're experiencing, our glass is already depleted. And of course, we want to help and everything, but we need to figure out what is going to help fill it up. And some of the things that would fill it up is what Orhan teaches, be it being present, meditating, journaling, recognizing where you are, recognizing the feelings. So in your situation, you woke up, Orhan, with all of these feelings. Many people, they're not connected with who they are and their own feelings, and they keep moving throughout the day, running from these feelings, and that would mess their entire day. In your situation, you were present with it. You recognized it, and you recognized that you needed to do something about it. So that's
very true. That is very true. And honestly, if you look at what's happened with the sheltering in place, that's where we hit a wall as a country, as a society, because it wasn't just today that I woke up that way. I woke up that way last week, last month, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I haven't stopped. And one of the things that we're suffering from right now that is so intense is we were forced to stop. We were forced to stop the behavior. Imagine even myself, 20 years momentum running a business, and then I'm forced to quit. That is a wall if you're not prepared for it. And that's one of the things that we're experiencing, is that we built all of this on top of that momentum, but many of us did not, including myself, because again, there's no arriving at perfection. I don't get that. I mean, there's no, I'm not there. It's a process that goes on. But what some of the things that people are experiencing is they never had any of the tools offered to them to allow them to ask themselves the question. And that's where I'm going to tie it back into Rob helping me. One of the things I think that we're suffering from a lot right now is the people that we have put into very powerful positions, our politicians, our doctors, and our leaders. We have looked to them for answers for decades. They're supposed to have the answers. Doctors are next to gods right now, or they were. And yeah, this may get a little comment, but that's okay. It's how I feel. Right now, nobody has the answers. And that is shaking so many people up, because we have given our knowledge and our wisdom over to other people. And it goes back to, how are they going to tell me what I need to know when it's part of my truth? And I can come to that truth by spending some time breathing. And I know that's another thing that we're facing right now. Nobody has any answers right now. And that's making us all so uncomfortable, including myself.
Orhan, you said a lot there, right? There's so much to process, and we've been doing it for a few weeks, but still we're in this place.
Well, that's another thing I want to bring up in that. It's okay to be right there.
Yeah.
That's another thing. One of my dearest friends, I mean, she's my dearest friend, Maxine Crump, that's one of the things that we have been sold is, and we learn this in school, that I have to have the buzzer answer. I have to have it right. And I have to be the first one with my hand up. What a disservice we've done to ourselves, because it's okay to do two things: to be uncomfortable and to leave the question open. Because if we try to buzzer answer it with an answer, we've shut down the process that is a natural process that brings the wisdom through. So it's okay to sit right here and say, okay, that was a lot of stuff. Don't seal it. Don't try to package it, and don't try to put it in a ribbon around that box. Allow it to sit there. It may take minutes. It may take lifetimes for the information to actually be revealed. But that's the one thing that I know that we have a lot of trouble with as people, is we want to give an answer, move on to the next thing. And that's where it doesn't help us in helping other people, because what happens in that is that person leaves, whether they're conscious of it or not. They were not heard and they were not seen. And there's three things I believe that we all want: to be seen and heard and know that we're of value. And if you really want to help someone, meet them where they are, allow them to bring what they have. Don't carry it on yourself, but you can do so much more with them by simply asking questions. How are you? What do you, what is a powerful one? I've learned this one. What do you think about that? What would you like to see happen? Not why. Why puts blame and shame, right? That brings those two things in. But what would you like to see? And be okay sitting in the quiet for a little bit and allow nothing to be said.
Saying nothing at all can be just as powerful as saying the right thing sometimes.
Absolutely.
That's tough for me, much like 6 feet of distance, and keeping it very PG-13 on this conversation.
So,
I'll take a sip of water on that.
So Orhan, as you were talking, you referenced the people who have questions and they don't have the answers. And I also, it made me think of a lot of people right now. They started reflecting about their lives and started reflecting about the shift they want to make. So this time, when we have a pause in our life, it forces us to think, are we happy with our lives? What are some of the changes we want to do professionally or personally? And as they're going through this shift, they're going to have even more questions and more unanswered questions. So in addition to what you shared, what else would you tell somebody who is now starting to think about changes in their lives?
That's a good one. That's a very good question. I would, again, it kind of goes back to the basic of just start where you are and be mindful of distracting yourself, because we can be isolated in a home, but we can also distract ourselves just as we did before, because the muscle memory, the habit of distracting ourselves is already ingrained. So I can do that by having the news on constantly on social media, constantly. I mean, I don't even have to have those things. I can still distract myself by not being present, by not being in that moment. And all the value, all that you're speaking of, all the potential value is lost, because I'm still busy distracting myself, being outside of myself. That's something I said early on, is that was going to be the scary part of this, is that overall, we're not comfortable being in our own skin. Just think about that. We're not comfortable sitting down with nothing, no pen, no paper, nothing, just sitting there. And I think that's one of the things, and it's not a fault. It's not, and anyone that hears that, it's not a shame thing. It's what we've been conditioned. It's what we've been told. In our businesses, we're all 3 business owners. Can you list the number of books that you have on your shelves that I own too, that are telling me the 10 things I need to do, the 7 habits of this, the 15 habits of this. This is what that guy does. This is what this guy does. All of those distractions that could be taken from a place of inspiration, but more oftentimes causes guilt and shame in somebody, because how can they do it so well and what am I doing wrong? And that instantly sets that area of disconnect, and then that begins the wheel turning of guilt and shame, and I'm not good enough, which we all carry. And then next thing you know, the balloon effect is there. So back to your question, Dima, that of what to do now is, if possible, and if it's in a place that you are, just carve out some time for you and just you. And that can be 5 minutes, 7 minutes, but just begin to leverage and practice being okay with just being with you. One of the best, what gets me out of a lot of my wormholes and my rabbit holes, because again, I am not perfect at this. I have often said, if y'all really knew what was going on back here, no. I've said that before. Whenever I started Manfulness, I say, they know who they talking to.
I remember the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob's been there for a few situations, right? So my point in that is, the one thing that we can do at any given moment, no matter what the news is, I can stop and I can find something to be grateful for. And if I got to offer anything, if no one hears anything else out of today, the one thing you can do at any given moment, as crazy as life is, you can find something to be grateful for. And that's what I mean. Getting there from here does not work. But if I start here, acknowledge where I am, appreciating these birds right now, right? Appreciating this green, appreciating the fact that you have a beautiful sunrise coming up behind you. Rob, just that face is enough to be grateful for.
Oh,
Those things, that beard, all of that. But again, seriously, I like humor. But again, just starting from that, you raise your vibration, you raise your energy just a little bit, and that's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to win anything, because there's nothing to win here. You're just trying to get your place. And I promise you that just by doing that a couple times a day, a couple times a week, you'll feel the shift. And then once you do that, the incentive is going to be there to do it more. And then you're going to want to help somebody else. Then you're able to help somebody else, because you're over here floating on top of the water, and you're going to be able to offer them the tools and the things that they already know to help themselves come up out of water, instead of you having to raise and pull somebody out of the water.
I love that. And let's do something. Let's practice what we're preaching here too. Dima, can you start and maybe list 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for, that you have gratitude for? And then I would like to do the same. And do you think it'd be okay if we let Orhan kind of give us a couple minutes of breathing, just like 2 to 3 minutes of breathing to let us slide out of the show? Do you think that's okay?
Yes, absolutely. And Orhan, if you want some music with the breathing, let me know. I have it ready.
There you go.
I would love that. The music was beautiful, actually.
So Dima, what are you thankful for? What are you grateful for?
In my situation, I am so grateful to God that during this time I am with my family. I'm here in San Diego with my mom and sister and my sister's husband and my nephew. And I love the fact that I can be here to help them and get all the love and the love that they're giving me instead of being home alone in Baton Rouge. That's one. The other one is I am so grateful that I'm able to play with my nephew and connect with the childhood things like yeah, building Legos, a lot of building Legos, coloring outside. So I'm so grateful to that.
I love it. I'm so very thankful for the forced stop. I am grateful that I probably wasn't able to do it myself on this level, but I'm grateful that it's given me the wake-up call and at least the sense of family that I think was missing a little bit. Sure, it's stressful. Sure, it can be tough, and we're all in close quarters. But to have this amount of time, what can be, if you make it, quality time with the people that you love, I have to echo what you're saying, Dima. That is probably one of the most things that have impacted me the greatest during this entire thing. The second thing I'm very grateful for is for a lot of amazing friends that provide a lot of support. Those friends extend from, friends at work, friends in the neighborhood, just friends you haven't talked to in a while. I am very thankful for them. And I'm also thankful that this forced stop has allowed me to contact and get in touch with some of them because life was so busy before. The last thing I want to say that I'm very thankful for is I'm extremely thankful that we have the ability to do something like this. There's a lot of people that don't. And, we're not just doing this to get our voices heard. We're doing this so we can reach out and engage and, provide some positivity. So I'm very thankful that we have that platform and we have resources around that. So very thankful for those things. And I'm obviously thankful to be on the show today with the both of you because this is the dynamic one. So Orhan, what are you thankful for, man? And lead us into a few minutes of breathing. I know it usually takes a little bit more, probably 5-10 minutes. It depends. But even a minute of breathing, right?
Minute, that's all you need. 60 seconds.
Let's give people a minute to 2 minutes of breathing with Uncle O.
Uncle O, Big Daddy O.
But what are you grateful for first? Start there.
Honestly, I was grateful as I was walking over here to get set up to do this. I looked down on the ground and I saw my first Indian paintbrush wildflower. It's a native wildflower of Louisiana, and it's the first one I've seen. And it's the first one of this year. And I've seen it last year and the year before and the year before. And in that moment, I stopped. And what I was grateful for was that there is something bigger running all of this, that decided that Indian wildflower, paintbrush wildflower, blooms in this moment. And I'm a part of that, and you're a part of that, and we're all part of that. And I'm grateful for that because it's not on me to fix any of this stuff. It's on me to trust whatever my faith, whatever my spirituality is, because whatever brought that Indian paintbrush up at this moment will bring it up next year and the following year. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Wow.
That's deep. I love that.
Okay, here's the
breathing. All you got to do, you can open your eyes, you can close your eyes, whatever you got. Simply bring your awareness to your breath. Just a moment. Just observe your breath. Feel how it enters your body. Just bring awareness as you inhale, how your chest expands naturally, how your stomach expands. And as you exhale, it naturally pushes the air out. And just be aware of the breath. amazing thing. It does its job, and it never has to be asked. It never has to be asked to show up. It never has to be asked to turn on. It's always there. And as the breath is the one thing we have that we can always count on, it's always with us. Just spending a few minutes every day just with the breath, with the gift of breath. That's all you need to do. Then when you're ready, bring your attention back to your body. Open your eyes. Amazing. It's amazing.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
I think I needed that.
Thank you guys so much.
Already in a better place.
Yes.
This has been a great one. Thank you for joining us today.
I love you both so much.
Thank you so much to Orhan. You were great today, sir. Love you.
Love you both.
As always, that beautiful face. Just
Thank
smile.
you. I feel numbed. I feel so good right now.
We're just gonna end this one off very nice.
Namaste. Namaste. Orhan.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste, everybody. Bye-bye.